Welcome back to the home build. Today we're going to talk about miscellaneous extra electrical. So with this home build, the electrician did the basic rough in, and there's so much more that I wanted than what they were going to provide as a basic plan. So I'm going to show you the things such as bringing in two 220 outlets for car chargers for electric cars, lots more can lights, a few more outlets, more Ethernet and cable and that sort of thing for TV and power and internet, and then as well as some junction boxes for future stuff, such as a future pulling wire to a future shop, irrigation, electric gates, all that sort of thing, and how you can plan ahead for the future. So we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the future plans. So, and I needed a plan for it. So with these boxes here, what I have is a sleeve going from the panel down to these other pipes, and they elbow out and go straight down. So this becomes a junction box. I can bring in the wire, tie it together, and it goes out towards the shop, that sort of thing. This sleeve's a 2-inch pipe, PVC, 1.5 inches. Also have a 2-inch as well going over to this box. Since I had a stud here, I got 4 pipes going out this way, 3 pipes, as you can see in the back there. They're all glued, they're all tight, so it can't move around. Over here, I also added another box for cable coming in, and then from there, from this box, they're all tied together and they'll go to the various TV locations, and also a central hub for internet converting over to Ethernet. So where my modem and my Wi-Fi box is going to be right there for that. So let's go ahead and so out here on the outside of this future boxes, the 2 boxes are right there. This is what it looks like. Of course, they can get painted. It's weathered in, it's airproof, so no air pressure is getting in. So that one over there is the cable box. So cable is going to be coming in from the power pole to it, and then these, of course, like I said before, the 1.5 inches going to a future shop out that direction, and then we got one going to a future on the southeast corner someday, maybe a hot tub. That's kind of our thinking, but at least it gets a conduit over there underneath the concrete patio that I got going on over there, and then some extras just in case. These 2 are going to go to a future gate and that sort of thing, but they're sleeves. They're going to be that go underneath this concrete that's going to be getting poured. I'm going to be going up that direction, so thinking of the future. So that's what it looks like from the outside. See all the red markups that I did. That's my planning of all of my additional electrical. So if I turn this exactly how it's going to be oriented. So right out there is my living room, or my great room. So you can see here I'm going to have 6 can lights. They're going to be on, these 3 will be on one switch, those 3 will be on a separate switch, and they're going to have switches on opposite corners. So coming in from the back patio, you can switch them on and so forth. So I got to be separate from the electrician's electrical. Let me turn that on. There, that's better. I got a heater going, heating things up and drying out the studs, the framing. So that's what that noise was all about. So back here, bringing in the power, I'll show you what I'm going to be doing. I have to keep my work separate from the electrician's work. 2 different permits. That way the electrician warranties his stuff, and then I'll have additional that's separate from his for myself. So sit back, relax. I'm gonna start off. So the process for all of these lights So that's what I'm starting with first, is all of these additional lights. I'm going to start off with bringing in the double gangs or single gangs, depending on the switch. Bringing in switches, locating where those are going to be. So from there, then I can run my wire. But pre-planning, putting on my my boxes first, and then wire after that. So let's so here's in the great room. I'm going to put a double gang box over there for 2 switches. I'm going to put another double gang box over here for 2 switches. So 1 row of lights and 2 rows of lights. So I got a bunch of material here. I know it looks like a bunch of junk, but it's kind of got a plan and a reasoning. But some double gangs, single gangs. I got a couple triple gangs. So here's a triple. There's a triple. So 3 switches, single gang, 1 switch, and a double gang for 2 switches. Kind of that simple. We also have some boxes for Ethernet, cable, power, that sort of thing that I got over there if I need to use them. This over here is exterior sconces, exterior lights, security lights, and so forth. So that's what those are for, and that sort of thing. So let's go ahead, enjoy the process, and we'll get started. So my switches over here, I'm going to have a double gang switch right over here, 4 foot to the top of my my double gang. So mark in the top right there, and I'm going to lay out for that, nail that on place. All right, so now I got my dining room lights. I think those all can be on 1 to a switch over here, okay, but it's also gonna feed a switch over on this side of the sliding glass door, so I can switch it from there and here, either way when I walk into the room. I don't think I'm gonna need one or want one over here on this end. Over here is fine. Over here, it's gonna take a triple gang box for the exterior future, one above and 2. So those will all be kind of separate. So a triple gang box for that, and a single gang for these dining room, 1 here and 1 there. So they kind of keep those separate. So triple gang is gonna go over here for those exterior. I'm thinking something like that. If I had a quad, so 4, I'd do that. So I'm gonna put 1 here. I could put a double in a double, I suppose. All right, looking back at the plans, I got in the master suite, we got 2 can lights, 2 can lights. I want them on separate switches, not all on the same switch. And I end up having to keep that box that's in the ceiling, and maybe that can turn into a ceiling fan or something else future, blanket off, something or other. But anyhow, I gotta put a double gang box in there. Alright, what we got going on here now is a double gang box with the trim ring for 220 50 amp plug-in for either a welder, or in this case what it's going to be used for is electric car. So I'm also going to have another one on the other side, so I'm going to have 2 located in different spots, again for welder or 2 electric cars. I am planning on eventually getting 2. I already have 1, so right now I got it kind of just in there, these little tabs. Put it back in. place, same height, using like a roofing nail. Alright, another 220 outlet for a car charger. Alright, I did want to show I made a mistake. Put on the wrong mud ring, is what that's called. So I'm going to swap that out for one of these. So looking at it, I'm like, how the heck am I going to wire that up later? And alright, we got the correct 220 mud ring in, and it'll be ready for sheetrock. And that's how it's fastened. It's got a clamp, cable clamp for clamping that wire down. Doesn't so much need it, but I want it. So I'm gonna swap that one out right here. And all right, so kind of a long story or a short story. I had a sister-in-law that fell down the stairs carrying her children and broke her ankle. So it kind of got me thinking I had to put some lighting for the stair lighting. So got a switch to these boxes right here. They make little tiny lights, and here I'll go grab them. So they look like this. This one style, it's LED, so this way it can light it up, so you're not taking that wrong step or missing the last step. That's the most common, either falling off a ladder or stairs of any sort, is that last step thinking you're on the bottom and you're not. So having a little light when it's dark is going to help. I like them horizontal. They make these vertical as well, but just the aesthetic look of it, to me, horizontal looks better. So of course I got to put in these blocks, blocking on each one, so I can have my box to nail to. I'm sure they make a different style of box. They make so many different ones, but that's what I had. That was readily available, and that's what I came up with. So, and it also allowed me to get wiring in behind it if I chose to do insulation, just better for insulation and that sort of thing. So where I got these wires looped, I'm gonna hook those, run them into the box, and then proceed. Something I did want to talk about was, or show, might not be talking about as much, is staples. So stapling, don't over tighten them, but at the same time they got to be within 8 inches. So they over tighten them, they can crimp and damage the wire. Not enough, then it's not really holding anything. So, but between the fixture to the box to 8 inches, that's what we need to be, is 8 inches or less. So we're good there, and frankly can't quite over or put enough staples in. Can't put too many staples in, I should say, to just kind of secure, so when they're blowing in insulation, other things aren't moving around, moving where they're not supposed to. So I'm back here in the living room. If you recall, I had 4 can lights, 2 switches. So one is going to operate these 2 can lights, and one there and one over there. It's going to be another switch. It's already ran those 14-2 wires going up, and I'm running over right up here is going to be for 1 can light, and then it loops and continues over to the end over here. The other one runs around, loops, so that I can run a can light, a little extra wire there to hook up. Stapled, trying to make sure at wherever I'm at within my can light, I'm within 8 inches of that where the can's gonna go. So now I'm running this 14-3, going from one switch, looping up and over to the other switch. Then I gotta run another one going up and over for the second switch. Then once those are all complete, then I got a home run that I got to run all the way to the panel, which will be bringing power from the panel over here to the switch, and I'll be using that power for both switches to power both switches up right in this location. I could also do it in that location over there. We'll see, but I got room here. I could probably do it as well. So all right, now what I got it going is from the panel to this box here. It's called a home run. I'm not doing that yet, but from there I'm going to bring power up to the next room. So that power is going to service this bonus room, and then going over to the stairwell lighting, and then from there kind of a direct short path to under stair lighting as well, and then that'll be on one circuit. So taking my 14-2 wire, let it go. So far we've talked about several additional electrical things that we've been adding to the house. Now we're going to talk about the most used part of the house, the TV. Sorry, that's just the way it is. As much as I love the outdoors, we watch a lot of TV and that sort of thing. So on this wall is going to be the wall with the TV. You can see our boxes down low, one for power, one's going to be coax and Ethernet, and then also up high. I don't want any wires dangling down, and frankly I'm not sure if I want to have any sort of cabinetry or anything, at least at first, underneath. So I am over here in this corner, I'm going to put another box, and I'm going to run Ethernet, the cable going over to it, and as well as most people forget about is the HDMI cable. So that's something that is going to be really hard to do later without tearing into the sheetrock and that sort of thing. So I'm going to run an HDMI cable, a good quality HDMI cable from this box down to that box. At least I have that as an option. And then as a second option is from this box through the holes that I've drilled over to the corner and down to a box here. So I'm going to put another additional box here. It's got power close enough. I could put a coffee table or something there. It's going to have my cable box and whatever else I guess I have there. But I also will have option for Ethernet, so that's probably what's going to get mostly used, but who knows. But I want to take care of that stuff right now during this stage. So HDMI cable is next thing that I'm going to be running. All right, so I had to modify my box. Since this is all low voltage, you don't have to have a box to the back of it, but it's kind of nice to have it all enclosed so insulation, that sort of thing's not getting into it. So I got it ran, tied up at the bottom. I got the ends taped off. I just don't want any paint or any drywall mud or anything like that getting to the ends of these, so that it fills it up. Also, I got it labeled down, so it's just going down to the bottom, so there won't be any cords in this area shown. Then I got a 25-foot one that I'm going to run from here over to my box over there that I cut into, so it can receive this big head for this HDMI cable. Running a TV now without HDMI. I don't know. Some people might use it, some people won't. I don't know. But if I don't have it in the wall now, then I know I won't be able to use it later without it being a wire exposed. The worst would be do all these steps and have all the wires hidden except for one. And that's what I'm trying to avoid. So make sure you unwind your cords. You're not just pulling it out, but just you're unwinding it like this. And I want lots of extra hanging out. Hopefully my sheetrockers will just tuck this in through instead of trying to bury it or some silly thing. But lots of extra so that I can run it over to the TV. Here we go. Another important note, any sort of television cable, stay away from power, okay? You don't want to have any kinks in it and that sort of thing where it's no good, especially coax cable. Don't want, you can cross power but just not run right next to power. Something to do with power jumping over. So I'm away from it. Not just HDMI. Now I'm also going to run Ethernet from my central hub over to this point, and then also from that point another one. Maybe it's all redundant, but Ethernet going over to it as well as coax. So, and I got that, plenty of it right here. What I'm using for Ethernet is a Cat 5e, so it's an exterior grade Cat 5. You can use it indoors as well. The reason I have the exterior one is, frankly, right now lots of things are shortage right now, and that's what I could get at the time when I needed to install it. So got the Cat 5e. It's a little bit more expensive, but I was able to get it. So the Xfinity or Comcast, they gave me the coax wire for running cables, so I got that running all over the place. And so I might only use it in a couple spots, such as bringing internet in, and then also running cable to this box right here. Currently the coax is running from where it starts in the garage to right here. So I'm going to run another cable from here over to my box. So if I decide to have, like I said before, my cable box right there, cable would be spliced in, going that way, HDMI coming back to the TV, and that sort of thing. So trying to think of all those things, so now is a good time to do it. So something not to forget is labeling. So I got some white electrical tape that I'm going to label on here. So This coax cable is going to run over to the box and as an option, but if I don't label it, I mean, all the coaxes look the same. So even in here, inside there, I have them labeled to where they're going. So later on, troubleshooting just makes it a little easier. Here in the garage, they gave me some power, but what I wanted is another outlet over here. Over here, they gave me a box there, so that distance was fine. Here, I want a TV right up here. So having the TV in garage for me is gonna be pretty awesome, because this is also gonna be my gym, so where I work out. Got Ethernet coming into it, power, so it's gonna be mounted up high. I also bought one down low. I added this box right here. This is the electricians. They gave me two outlets, or excuse me, 2 light fixtures up high. I wanted one over there where that wire is dangling down. So this particular type is going to go right into an LED strip light. These type here is going to be something different. Eventually the electrician's going to give me basically just a light bulb sticking down. So I'm going to end up having to have a bigger light fixture because of that can for an LED light strip as well. For this switch, one goes to that can light over there, and the other is going to go to the security cameras or motion lights on the outside. So right where that hole is, it's still got to get finished up. There's going to be a security light out there. I got another one up at the top over here, so you can see the back side of this one's already made up and it's done. So there's a security light there, all weatherproofed on the inside, so that's super important to keep that air out. And then I have another one going over to there, and then the home run from there goes into the panel. So excuse me, the home run goes to the light switch first. So here's a look at the sconce on the outside. That's one that the electricians provided, but I put in the blocks so that I can have it weathered in, weatherproof, so to speak. That's what it looks like on the outside. Down there is the outlet. That's what they provide. Then I did these extra box up there that you saw from the inside. There's one there, one up at the peak where the future ridge is going to be for this back patio, and that one over there, wire just sticking out, ready for to be wire nutted and capped until I'm ready for it. So the other thing on this wall here, I have a freezer, a deep freeze, and a refrigerator, so that I'm gonna have out here in the garage for all my beverages and hopefully some wild game and that sort of thing in it. But anyhow, I got an outlet that's on a separate breaker right there, so for it to plug in, it's gonna be on a 20 amp breaker all by itself just for that, and then separate from all these others. So I did also add another outlet here, another outlet here, and another one over here. So I'm not sure if I'll have another workbench over here and then storage on each side or what, but it gives me options. Nobody wants 1 or 2 outlets in the garage. You're gonna need more. So I elected to have a plug-in for my car charger right here. Here's a 220. It is 8 gauge wire going up and over back to the panel. All right, so starting off in our laundry room. So what I added here was, I'm gonna have a future sink right here, utility sink. So I added I'm gonna have a can light right here, because I like to have light in front of me when you're either cleaning out your paintbrushes or folding laundry right here or something like that. I want that light in front. What they provided me is a light here and a light there, which is adequate for this room for sure, but the light is behind you when you're working in front. It's that constant shadow. So by doing that, I put a light switch here and another one over there. It's a 14-3 wire going from here to there. The power starts there, going up to the can, going over. So, going from, so the light is going to go from here up, power goes into it, and as well as a 14-3 going over to here. Okay, so it'd be a dead end three-way. So from here, I got power going from there up and going to feed into more lights over here in the office. So I got a can light that I'm going to be putting in here, there, and there. So 4 all on one switch going back to here. So you can see, for me, I had to keep it separate. As much as I'd like to have a double gang box, I have to have 2 separate single gang boxes, keeping my work separate from theirs. From here, power goes up. It's going to feed into lighting for underneath my stairs. So this is going to be just a storage area, and but I want light. So when I'm under there pulling Christmas lights out or whatever, I can do that. So all that goes into a switch right here, with to be a light fixture going up here somewhere. And then inside here also is going to be my central location for going from changing over my internet to Ethernet, where everything plugs in. So this is going to be hidden down in here. Ethernet's going to go to all the TV locations in the living room. There's one in here in the office. So I added this box here for Ethernet, which is a Cat 5. It's not that blue wire. It's a exterior grade Cat 5, which can be used interior as well. The interior wire just cannot be used exterior. But some things to think about is when you're tacking these in place with staples, making sure it's nice and loose. You don't kink any of those wires when you're trying to pull through and it's coiled. You want to uncoil it. Don't twist it, and if it kinks, then it ruins that wire. So you won't get a good communication, as well as the coax cable. That's even more so important, is making sure it doesn't twist and kink when you're pulling in the wire. So kind of what I decided for my lights, I got the north half, that's first and second floor, is going to be on one 15 amp breaker, because it's all LED. It's not pulling a whole lot of power. So that's all on one circuit. And then the south half, which is just the living room, dining room, and the master bedroom lights, they're on a separate, and it's all a 15 amp breaker using 14 gauge wire. That's what the white is. Make sure you check for the actual wiring of it. Go to other YouTube channels, they'll show you that sort of the wiring, but for the rough end, you got to have it all made up like this for the inspection. EU, that's a great reference for the details. It's an electrician actually teaching you and showing you how to do all this type of wiring. They're a great resource for that. So EU, check it out. He's pretty awesome. So back here in the dining room, we're going to end up having a chandelier. So that's one thing that the electrician provided, going to 2 switches. Then I'm actually going to have a can light over here, can light up here where that wire tail is, can light there, and over here. Those are on one switch, so they can be a dimmer, so they don't have to be full brightness, but some options there. So also for this outside back patio, I got a future plans for a back patio out there. What a beautiful day. Got some sun finally. So I want some power, some lighting, that sort of thing out there. So I'm going to be bringing in 12 gauge wire. That's what the yellow is. Okay. So that what that 12 gauge wire also means is it's going to be a 20 amp breaker. Just elect to have it. There's no, I could have 14 out there, but it's just, I want a little more juice. But anyhow, I got a triple gang box there. So my plan is I'm going to have a beam going out this way with rope lighting, and it's going to be on a switch. So from one of these switches, it goes up and over to that junction box up there. And then from there, it can feed out to a rope light, that sort of thing. So that's just going to be blanked off. It'll have wire nuts on the end and that sort of thing. But so after I get the roof in next year or year after, when I get to it, then I can tie into it. And the infrastructure's there, the switches, all that sort of thing, it's already done. So some pre-planning that I did for that. If we get into the master, so all the plastic, you know, it's not permanent, of course, but it's winter time, it's rain, that sort of thing. So it's for weather. So here in the master bedroom, added 2 more switches for 2 can lights for 1 switch. These 2 right here for can lights for on another switch coming back here. So that's the added work here. Let's go up to the 2nd floor and check out what I did. All right, up here in the bonus room. So we're going to be kind of a family room, so to speak. The electrician brought in cable to a box down here, just the cable. So I brought in Ethernet to it. And we were originally thinking, oh, well, we'll have our TV right there. So I brought in this box and ran a line of coax from here to there so it can splice the 2, as well as Ethernet. And then I got to thinking, well, furniture from, if I was sitting on a couch way over here, it's a long ways away from the TV. So what we're going to do, we'll see how it goes, we're going to put a TV over here. So it's not as far. We can put a little workstation here so kids can do their homework and that sort of thing. Right here, it's going to have a hard connection, Ethernet, so they're going to have the best internet as possible. And so our seating arrangement might be somewhere over here with the TV there. We'll see, but we got the option for both. So what I did with this type, I got power and low voltage. So low voltage doesn't have to have a box in the back, but power does. So it's all in a box made up. Power going to it, and it's also going down to the bottom, so I can have both options. I could always put a cover plate over this, just use the bottom if I want, but it's there. Coax, it's got to stay separate. It can't run parallel with power. It interrupts the signal. So it can cross but not run with it. So I tried my best to keep this coax, the communication, all that sort of thing separate. As I'll show you up here where I got it stapled, it's very loosely stapled, nothing's pinching it, jeopardizing that sheath on the outside. It can damage the signal, so and that sort of thing. But I got a line going, this main is going all the way through. It actually goes through here down in. I could abandon the one on the bottom and just pull it in right here if I want, but there's no sense in that. I'll tie it in together down there and run this second one up here and that sort of thing. So all this added electrical work, it took me 1 weekend, 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, with the help of my sister, her 2 kids, my 3 kids, my wife. Big thanks, big shout out to them. I couldn't have done it without them doing all that work in that short amount of time. So it was me running around making sure everything wasn't twisted and kinked and that sort of thing and done right, but we did it, and we got our inspection passed and that sort of thing. So I'm very grateful. And well, that about wraps up the extra electrical like always, if you're not sure about this sort of thing, hire an electrician. They're going to know what's what. They are originally going to charge you for the basic stuff, so all these are extras that I wanted. So if anything, hopefully this gives you an idea of some of those extra things that you need to think about and have installed during this rough-in type phase. So that's it. Like always, be safe out there, and I'll see you next time on the home build.